Hello and welcome in to another edition of my pickup series. Yeah, got a few more really cheap albums in the post, and I also was out on Monday and I managed to get some things there. Um, Nothing too amazing, but yeah, let's get stuck in. This should be a pretty short video. First thing I'm going to show off is the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. This came out in 1994. This was put out by Death Row Records, of course. Most of our artists are on here in one form or another. So you got, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Dogg Pound. Nate Dogg has a solo song on here, which is actually very good. One More Day. Um, who else is on here? Sam Snead is on here, who's like another. He was a dope producer. He helped produce Natural Born Killers, which is also on here, and he also co-produced Keep Their Heads Ringing by Dr. Dre. So he was a dope producer and a dope rapper too. It's kind of a shame that he didn't actually get to release anything during those Death Row days. I know an album did come out from him like years later, but it was like a mix between unreleased stuff and like new stuff. I don't know. I don't think it was supposed to be that good, but yeah, really good soundtrack. Well worth getting. It's very cheap. The only thing I don't like about it is that there's like some R&B, like crappy R&B songs on here. From the likes of Jewel, who was one of the singers at Death Row, and Danny Boy, who's most well known for I Ain't Mad at You, the hook for that. But yeah, so there's a couple of songs I get from not too keen on, but all of the proper, rap, hip hop stuff is really good. So yeah, that's the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. Came out in 1994. Next album is He Got Game by Public Enemy. This album came out in 1998. It is their sixth album, and it's also, of course, the soundtrack album to the film He Got Game. An interesting example of how an album can both be a studio release, like a studio album and a soundtrack album at the same time. I think this album is very, very good, actually. I feel like everything the public, like, well, not everything, but a lot of the stuff the Public Enemy did after Apocalypse 91 gets is doesn't really get any praise whatsoever for whatever reason. But I think this is a really dope album. Um, yeah, their sound is pretty different on this, like production wise. Like they adopt more of a typical sort of East Coast kind of sound. But I think it's a dope album, and Chuck D is always great. He's never faltered. And I like the beats on here anyway, even though they were more typical, you know what I mean? They didn't have that like signature Public Enemy sound anymore, but you couldn't do that forever anyway, you know what I mean? That would have gotten tired. Yeah, my favorite songs on here, I really like Resurrection with Master Killer. Even though I don't really like the way Master Killer's verse is done, it sounds like it was literally phoned in. I don't really like that. He Got Game, which was the main single, which uses the Buffalo Springfield sample, and they actually got Stephen Stills, I believe his name was, from Buffalo Springfield to do like a little bit of the chorus from that song. House of the Rising Sun's very good. I think it's a very good album overall. Check it out if you haven't. I don't really see people talk about it that much, but I thought it was a pretty dope album. And this would be their last album on Def Jam. Yeah, after this they would go to a bunch of independent labels, and they would eventually do their own labels. So yeah, that's He Got Game by Public Enemy. Came out in 1998. This is another 1998 album. I know these next two albums don't get very good. People don't really like these two albums very much, but I was kind of in the mood to get them, and they're very cheap online. So I was I was just in the mood for them. I don't know why, but here is Ice Cube's War and Peace Volume One, the War Disc. Like I say, came out in '98. This was his fifth album. Came out about 5 years after Lethal Injection, which in hip hop is like a really, really long time. And I can see why like loads of people don't like this album. I don't think it's that great either, but I remember hearing this album before ages ago, and I remember not liking it at all. Hearing it now with like fresh ears, it's a little bit better than I remember it being. You know what I mean? I was sort of um, I appreciate it for what it is a little bit more. If you're hearing this for the first time after coming off Lethal Injection, it's like listening to a completely different artist. Ice Cube sounds completely different. The lyrics are pretty dumbed down on this album. People make the argument that he was sort of slowly dumbing down his lyrics, like throughout his solo albums, but by this stage they were getting really dumbed down. He has a couple of more like sort of conscious kind of songs, like slightly political songs, but then not that many. And yeah, it's far too long, this album, but it does have some good beats on it, I have to say. Um, and yeah, I really do like the song "Ghetto Vet." I think that's a great song, but overall, it's not that great. This album introduces Mr. Short Chop, who was like his protege at the time, who wasn't very good at all. He was pretty bad. Up to that point, Ice Cube, like all the people that Ice Cube tried to put on, were great. Everyone from like with the Lynch Mob and Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Cam, Yo Yo, Caution, like Mac 10, like all those guys were great. But then you've got Mr. Short Chop. It's like such a step down, but yeah, it's not. It's like I say, it's not that great of an album. I know a lot of it was recorded in the South, actually, and I think that sort of influenced the overall sound of this album too. It's kind of weird. I'm sort of mixed feelings on it. I don't think it's that good overall, but it does have some decent tracks, and it's not as bad as you may remember it being. And yeah, I did get Volume 2 as well, which War and Peace Volume 2, the Peace disc. This was supposed to come out pretty shortly afterwards, early '99, but it got pushed back quite a bit and ended up coming out in early 2000. This album, I think, is a bit better. It's not as long. It's not the War disc's far too long, and it has more like standout songs on it, like "Hello" with Dr. Dre and MC Ren. That's a really good song. That was sort of like the little. That song came from the little NWA reunion that they did in '99. Two songs came out of that. We had "Hello" and we had "Chin Check" as well. So that's a dope song. I like the gutter shit with Joe Felony, Squeak Grew, and is it Gangsta? Yeah, it's Gangsta from the Comrades. Yeah, I think that's a dope song. Until We Rich with Crazy Bone is a dope song too. There's good stuff in here, but um, his lyrics completely dumbed down on this, and like, what was the whole War and Peace thing about? Like, there's no real good concept behind it. Like, the only thing that I can sort of glean from it is that like War and Peace is supposed to be like the darker, more serious album, and this is supposed to be more of a party album. But um, yeah, just the whole concept didn't really pan out, did it? Yeah, and he's jacking for beats on this album as well. It's like there's two like jacked EPMD beats on here. There's what song is it? I think it's Record Company Pimpin'. I believe that's like he takes it's like a remake of the Listen to My Demo song by EPMD, and after that, the song afterwards, Waiting to Hate, is pretty much the same beat as what's that song called? Oh God, the first song on the Unfinished Business. The So What You Saying? That song. It's pretty much the same beats. It's like wow, and the song. Gotta Be Insanity. E40 pretty much used that same sample before, 4 years earlier when on the Hall of Game album, the song I Like What You Doing to Me featuring Be Legit. It's like the same beat, and it's even like the same chorus. With the girl singing I like what you're doing to me. It's the same thing. It's like, oh my god, he's checking for beats, but yeah, this album's okay too. It's not that great, but yeah. I was just in the mood to get them. I can't explain why, but yeah, Ice Cube, the Peace disc came out in 2000. All these next ones I got in person on Monday. All these first ones I got second hand, either from charity shops or second hand shops. The first one is a Jay-Z, The Blueprint. It's got that horrible CX price sticker on it still. As you can see, I got it for £1. Yeah, after getting Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, I saw this and I was kind of like, yeah, why not? Like I say, I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan, but still give his album a chance. I did hear it back in the day. My older brother did have it, but yeah, I wanted to listen to it with fresh ears and give Jay Z more of a chance because I know, everyone loves him, and it's just for some reason he's never really clicked with me. But overall, I think this album is a lot more consistent from Volume Two, and I think the production for the most part is better on this album compared to Volume Two. But Volume Two had songs on it that I liked more, if you know what I mean. So yeah, pretty good album. I would personally say it's overrated. People say it's a classic album and that it's like a 10 out of 10 amazing album. It isn't to me personally, but that doesn't mean it's a bad album in my opinion. It's just it was it's just not. It just doesn't blow my socks off personally. Yeah, known for songs like Takeover and Izzo and Girls, Girls, Girls. I remember hearing Girls, Girls, Girls and Izzo, the Hova song, quite a lot back in the day. Yeah, Renegade with Eminem. So yeah, good album. I mean, for a pound, I'm glad I picked it up. So that's Jay Z, The Blueprint, came out in 2001. Of course, came out around the time when he was beefing with Nas and all that. Next up, this is I don't know, like I kind of saw it there and I was like, yeah, why not? This is my first exposure to this artist pretty much at all. This is Ti with Paper Trail. Again, I got it for £1. I saw it and I was like, I knew it was probably something that I wasn't really going to like, if you know what I mean. But I went for it anyway, just because I never really heard him before, and I thought I would give it a chance. And yeah, I was a bit put off by like the features on here because it's like all people that I don't really like Rihanna and Usher and who else, Lil Wayne and Kanye West and stuff like that. But I gave it a chance anyway for £1, and it was actually a bit disappointing because it started off pretty good. I actually thought it was pretty good to begin with, but it sort of went downhill, and yeah, it didn't come together for me. I kind of lost interest. It's one of those albums that's really long and it became kind of like your stereotypical like mainstream sounding album of that time. This came out in 2008, so yeah, but I did like it at the start, and he's not a bad rapper at all. He's actually pretty good. He's not bad, but yeah, I wasn't really feeling a lot of the beats on here and the hooks and stuff like that. Yeah, not good, but yeah, I need to listen to it again. I don't remember that much of it, but that was just my overall experience of it. I was surprisingly enjoying it towards the start, and as it went on, I lost interest. But yeah, that's Ti with Paper Trail. There we go. Giving something else, giving something that I haven't really heard a go, because that was like when that came out, I wasn't really listening to hip hop at all. I know that's quite a big album, but that's when I wasn't really listening to hip hop at all. I moved on to other things. So yeah, this is stuff that I got from the charity shop. Now this video isn't going to be short at all. I just keep on rambling on. Here is this is the closest thing that I've done to a blind buy in a charity shop. Or in a second-hand shop, because I saw the cover and the name looked so familiar to me, but I wasn't 100% sure if I knew if it was what I thought it was, and I ended up being right, which is good. It was only 50p anyway, but it is Spearhead with the album Home. This came out in 1994. Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that before somewhere. You know what I mean? And I was right. You know what I mean? It is. A hip hop album. It's the main guy, Michael Franti. I believe he was part of another group before this, and this was kind of like it's technically hip hop, but it's got like a lot of rock influence, and has like a sort of jazzy kind of vibe to it as well. It's quite laid back, this album. I thought it was pretty good, you know what I mean? Nothing, it didn't really blow my socks off, but I thought it was an enjoyable album, and it was worth picking up at 50p. Not a lot more to say about it. I can't. I've only listened to it once, but yeah. I was surprised to find it anyway. So yeah, definitely happy to get that. So that is Spearhead with Home. Came out in 1994. This next one I got in the same charity shop, and I'm very, very surprised to find this in the charity shop. It is Aesop Rock with None Shall Pass. This came out in 2007. again, he's another artist that I knew about but never really heard. Kyle JTP 2000 showed me a song last year from this album. The song, what's it called? Citronella. Yeah, but that was it really. I heard a lot about him last year. He had a lot of critical acclaim with the Impossible Kid album and all that, but I never really checked out his music. So this is like my first proper exposure to him. I thought it was a dope album. I enjoyed it. I liked the sort of futuristic, but at the same time, like hard hitting beats that were, kind of rock influenced as well. You know what I mean? Quite a lot of guitars and stuff like that going on this album. And I thought Aesop Rock, he's definitely out there, isn't he? Like he's just one of those crazy rappers, and he's kind of hard to keep up with, but definitely enjoyable. You know what I mean? I thought he was pretty good, and it was one of those. This was actually it was the opposite of Ti, where Ti got worse the more it went on. This actually got better as it went on, in my opinion, and I enjoyed the album. I didn't like the song "Coffee" that much at the end, but the rest of the album I thought was very very good. Songs like "Getaway Car" and "Gun for the Whole Family," which features LP, and Dark Heart News and stuff like that. I thought it was a very good album. So very very surprised to find that in the charity shop for £1. Yeah, definitely had to pick that up. So yeah, need to check out more of his albums. Well, depends on who you listen to. I've heard some people say this is not his best, so yeah, need to check out more from him. But yeah, that's Aesop Rock with None Shall Pass. Yeah, I apologize. I've rambled up for way too long, but I've only got one more to go. It is. Next album is Method Man, Tikal 2000 Judgment Day. I bought this new in HMV for $3.99. It's just an album that I would be meaning to pick up for a long time, and never got round to it, and I thought I might as well get it while I'm here. And yeah, very dope album. His second album came out 4 years after his first album, Tikal. Um, yeah, Tikal is a classic album. This album isn't quite as good, but still a very dope album anyway. I know that this album gets a lot of flack because of all the skits and stuff, but um, I don't know. Like the skits aren't too long. I mean, there's a lot of them, but they don't really get too in the way of the album, in my opinion. You know what I mean? There's still plenty of dope tracks on here. Like Dangerous Grounds and Suspect Chin Music, and of course Judgment Day, the title track. It's like, yeah, there's plenty of good stuff on here, and I thought the beats from all the different Wu affiliates were great as well, and Method Man, he's one of my favorite Wu members. I just love his voice, and even though his solo career really hasn't been the best, but from what I could tell. Like I don't remember his later albums that well, but yeah, it was a very good album, and definitely well worth checking out if you haven't heard it. I'm sure most of you guys have heard it, but yeah, definitely worth getting. So that's Tikal 2000 Judgment Day, came out in 1998. That's the end of this video. Way longer than I expected to be. It's quite a short stack, but I managed to talk quite a bit there. As usual, I think. Thank everyone for watching and commenting as always, and I'll see you guys next time.